My husband, 33, has two daughters, pre-tweens, from a previous marriage. He shares custody of them with his ex-wife, Mina, 33 female. They divorced 7 years ago. I met him 5 years ago, and we're almost married 2 years. This is my, 30 female, first biological child. Things are tense between us and Mina. I mostly stay out of discussions between them because she doesn't like it. And ultimately, the girls don't need more tension between their two homes for the sake of me showing up. That doesn't mean I don't discuss things with my husband or that I'm uninvolved. But when it comes to communicating with their mom, I don't insist that my voice be heard equally like the two bio and legal parents. My husband would like me to be an equal part of it, but tension is significantly less since I made the decision not to sit in on these discussions, which I would only go to support my husband. But even that was something Mina disliked. I bring this up because this is being considered on this point. A few weeks before I found out I was pregnant, the girls told my husband Mina was pregnant. Mina's single for anyone who asks, and is pregnant via donor. They were really excited. When we told them we were expecting, they weren't excited. They see their mom having a baby is different than me having a baby with their dad. We get along, so this was a surprise. But they don't see me as a parent, so to them, the baby isn't a sibling, while their mom's baby has just their mom, so they are real siblings. This is something being addressed via therapy, and my husband and I are talking to them. Now on to the gifts. Mina bought the girls roughly $500 worth of gifts each that they'll receive from the baby when she's born. My husband wanted us to do this too, and he told me that we need to match it at least, because they already prefer their sister from mom and still don't see their brother from us as a real sibling. Neither baby's born yet. I told him I didn't think we should spend a lot on gifts like that. My husband said he's worried. It's just another negative for our son if we don't. My husband's parents found out through Mina about the gifts, and they told us we better do better than that. I told them that was an insane amount of money to spend for this. They accused me of not caring about the girls and not valuing a good relationship or a good sibling relationship between them and my son. They think it's unreasonable to not to want to spend a lot of money in these circumstances. Am I the idiot? I couldn't help but laugh at the idea of a newborn coming out and clutching a gift for their siblings. Unless it's a birth certificate, I'd hope for a C-section. Even then, talk about the worst paper cut of your life. Apologies if I went a bit far. You are not the idiot. If you engage in this competition with Mina, it won't stop here. I have no doubt it'll escalate. Rise above and don't play this game. You're doing the right thing by going to family therapy. I really hope it makes a difference. We did a little dog that barks, and I think it cost like $10 for our eldest when our middle was born because they're 3 years apart. But we didn't do anything when our youngest was born because they're 5 years younger than our middle child. The age is what makes the difference. At that age, your stepdaughters know the gifts aren't really from the baby, which makes the whole idea unnecessary. This sets a bad precedent, making them think that they must be appeased for his existence. It feels like another social media trend where parents are expected to buy the gifts for the siblings when a new baby arrives. That's exactly right. A $500 present because they're getting a new sibling? Screw that. My grandchild was happy with 2 new books I bought for her when her new sibling arrived. If you match Mina's gifts, she'll find another ridiculous way to one-up you. The only way you win in this game is by not playing. And the steppies don't consider OP's son their sibling. That's not going to change, irrespective of the money poured in. You cannot change the emotions of children with money. OP needs to remember that she's the only one who appears to be in her son's corner. OP, Mina set a very dangerous trap for you and your husband. The girls also believe that their dad is the father of Mina's new baby. This all needs to be straightened out ASAP. My friends invited me, male 40, and my fiance, female 36, out for dinner, along with another couple. So I asked my fiance and she said yes, we should go. My friend made the reservation at a restaurant closer to us, so we wouldn't have to drive too far, even though it ended up being a much further drive for him and the other couple. On the day of the dinner, she wasn't feeling great, so I told her we didn't have to go and that I could cancel, but she insisted we go, so I didn't cancel. So it came time to leave for dinner, and my fiance was struggling with her hair, so she asked if she could wear a hat. Normally, I'm completely against wearing hats inside of a restaurant because I was raised to believe that hats at the dinner table are disrespectful. But this place was kind of casual, and I really didn't want to deal with waiting around an extra hour for her to do her hair and make us late. So I said yes to help move things along. We drive to the restaurant, arrive just in time, walk up to the door and see the sign that reads, "No hats allowed in the dining room." I kind of laughed to myself and think it's no big deal and said we'd head back to the car so she can fix her hair. We get in the car and she starts having a meltdown, saying her hair looks like crap and she needs to fix it. She has long, curly brown hair. Not frizzy, but curls can be tough to control at times. Her hair really looked just fine, but I stayed quiet at this point because I'm beyond frustrated that she's actually a child. After 5 minutes of trying to fix her hair, she gets really upset with me. Meanwhile, we're late, and my friend has already seen us in the parking lot. I tell her that at this point, I have to go inside, and she says, "Fine, just go," and she'll stay in the car. I go in and explain that she's not feeling well, but I tell them she may join us shortly, so we go on to order drinks. She never shows up, so I order her a bottle of water and bring it to her to make sure she's okay. She seemed fine, so I asked her what she wanted to do. She doesn't really respond, so I say, "Okay, I'm gonna go back in to order dinner." I asked her if she wanted me to bring her anything, and she said no. After several drinks and a really good dinner, about an hour and a half had passed, I told my friends I had to go, even though I didn't really want to at this point, because I was really upset my fiance had completely let me down because she was worried about her hair. I get back to the car and can see that she's enraged. She says that she's humiliated, that I would just leave her there. She also can't believe that I didn't help her with her hair and tell her it looked great. At this point, I tell her she's acting like a child and needs to grow up. I explained that she was the one at fault and she had the choice to go into the restaurant or just go home, and I would have taken an Uber. Several days later, and she's still angry with me. Not the idiot. She basically said screw everyone's plans because her hair wasn't perfect. She's extremely vain, or extremely insecure, or some combination of the two. Either way, she's immature and selfish. She could have called an Uber home. I'm guessing she sat in the car just so she could play the victim. You went above and beyond by catering to her immaturity and bringing her water and checking in. She turned what could have been a nice dinner out into an argument because of hair. A grown woman had a 2-hour temper tantrum and chose to stay in the car because her hair wasn't perfect. Were you aware that she was like this before you got engaged? I mean, even if your hair is sticking up like a pineapple, or you've got a bald spot, or humidity, frizz, or gray roots showing, you can't let it ruin your social life. Does she really think they'll judge her more for a bad hair day than for bailing out at the last minute? It feels like she was playing chicken with OP, relying on the situation's awkwardness to make him exit the dinner early. Very immature. I know people like that who just want to be angry. There are so many solutions, or sorts of solutions with plenty of options. She literally could have gone home. The restaurant is closer to her and OP, after all. Fixed her hair and come back with apologies. She could have just done the best she could with what she had on hand and just gone with it. But she wanted to be angry, so here we are. The older I get, the less patience I have for this type of partner or friend, because this is the easy stuff. If this is how they act now, what'll they do when things are actually hard? I, a teen male, need some advice. And this is a messy family thing, so I need to bring up the background first. My mom and dad got married 18 years ago. My mom lost her first husband 4 years before their marriage, and my dad lost his first wife 6 years before. My mom had 3 kids with her first husband, and my dad had 2 kids with his first wife. My half-siblings are all 9+ years older than me. My parents really never had the typical marriage, and they never had blended families. They married for a roommate situation. They never forced their kids to interact and never tried to bond with their stepkids. My dad told me none of the kids wanted a step family, so they didn't give them one. Instead, they focused on making the best of things that they had while enjoying adult companionship. My mom had her family and my dad had his, and the two sides, even while living under one roof. never merged or did anything together. And when I was born, neither side wanted me. I was seen as another part of the not family but roommate deal. My parents don't share a bedroom. They don't go on dates. They play puzzles together, watch TV together, and eat together sometimes. But if one of their kids has a birthday, the parent goes without the spouse. They take turns visiting their own kids for a few nights. I stay with the parent who doesn't go for visits. I'm never welcome in my half-siblings' homes. My parents have no photos from their wedding. Our house has photos from their first weddings and their first families. We don't have very many family photos with me. I don't ever see any of my half-siblings. My mom or dad will sometimes ask me to say hi if they're on the phone with them, but I never get a hi back, so yeah. My parents plan to be buried with their original spouses and kids. There's room in both graves for them, plus their kids and kids' spouses, and maybe some grandkids, but I don't have a spot. Sorry for all the weird backgrounds, but I bring all this up because Mom's daughter's getting married, and she wants me to go to the wedding with her since she can bring someone. And since I'm a sibling, she thinks it should be me. But I refused. I told Mom her kids didn't accept me as a sibling, and I'll be left on my own most of the time. I won't be in any photos or anything, and I might even get her hostility. But my mom is saying that I need to come with her. Am I the idiot for refusing? This sounds like a torturous experience. Your mother's almost 2 decades too late, including you. Decline the invitation. Your mom can go by herself. If she needs company, then she can take your dad or a friend. You don't want to go to a wedding where you don't know anyone but your mom and only have a nodding acquaintance with the bride. This is a horrible, horrible way to raise a child, and I'm so sorry your parents are like this. Get therapy as soon as you're able, but I also wanted to remind you that you do not owe them anything. People love to bring that up with idiot parents, but their raising you is quite literally the bare minimum, and they've done an awful job of it too. So no, you don't owe it to your mother to go to this wedding, and you don't owe it to them to keep in your life or do anything for them once you turn 18. Just something to think about for the future. Whatever you decide to do is ultimately your choice. Yesterday, my friend Leah, 25 female, and I, 25 female, argued. Both of us are physically disabled. Leah told me that no doctor was taking her disability seriously. I've had my fair share of doctors tell me I was just stressed, so I thought I knew what she was talking about. For reference, her disabilities are chronic pain and chronic fatigue. I've dealt with both due to a different disability, but then she told me that the doctors were telling her that losing weight would fix it. The thing is, Leah is obese. I would say she's well over 100 pounds more than she should be. I understand overweight people are often told that their weight is the problem, but there's so much research on obesity's toll on the human body. Of course you're in pain moving around when you're carrying excess weight. She uses a roller everywhere she goes. I'm not saying it wrong. I have to use a wheelchair. Walking with it is the only time I see her moving, but even then, she often sits down to take breaks. Leah asked me why the doctors took me seriously and how she could get the same treatment. I first explained to her that I've had these disabilities since birth, so there's extensive treatment throughout my life. But then I suggested that maybe losing weight would actually help her condition. I cited a bunch of research to look into to back me up, and I even explained how obesity can cause issues and how weight loss can reverse some of those issues. I thought I was making sense, but Leah got super upset. She told me that I was just as fat phobic as the doctors and that I was body shaming her. We had a back and forth for a while after that, and we haven't talked since. I feel I might have done something wrong. Am I the idiot for suggesting my friend lose weight? Her doctors are telling her what to do, and she's resisting their advice. So she's clearly defensive about her weight, and her weight could be connected to her other medical issues as well. So by pushing, you just raised her defenses more and may have made her feel like her other medical problems weren't valid. Not the idiot, but perhaps you were not so wise either. I think an apology for going overboard with an acknowledgement that she has real other medical concerns that are causing issues could go a long way towards mending the friendship. In my experience, being 100 pounds overweight at 25 is not a reason to need a rollator. Sure, weight loss will have a positive effect on her mobility, but I do think that she has more problems than being obese. It's very frustrating for a person if even doctors can't look past the obesity to see if they can help in another way. Losing weight is even more difficult without mobility. Her doctors are idiots for dismissing her struggles and giving her obviously unhelpful advice despite her pain. You're an idiot for not really listening, and parroting advice she just told you was unhelpful. My wife and I have been married for 16 years and together for 20. We have a daughter who's a teen. Last month, my wife confessed to cheating on me in a one-night stand during a business trip. She was really remorseful about everything and promised every possible reconciliation step. But this was a huge shock and heartbreak to me, and I needed time to think about it. I went back and forth a lot on whether I wanted to leave my wife. There was obviously a lot of tension in the house, and our daughter noticed it and asked questions, but we were just quiet about everything. However, after taking 3 weeks to think about it, I decided I wanted to make it work, given my wife would allow all the reconciliation steps. However, I also told my wife she had to tell our daughter what she did and that our daughter deserved to know. My daughter was close with her, and my wife was hesitant about it as she worried this would damage their relationship. However, I told my wife that given her moral failings, she had to do this as a test of her character, i.e. being truthful, if she wanted to stay in this relationship. After taking a couple of days to think about it, my wife told our daughter everything that happened. It hasn't affected their relationship too much as far as I can notice, which makes me happy, but my daughter does seem a bit more reserved towards her mom. Was I the idiot? It's pretty messed up that your daughter became a pawn in your reconciliation with your wife. You used your daughter to test your wife's character? You're both idiots. Your daughter had nothing to do with this and doesn't need to be dragged down into it, especially a teen. Just divorce, man. Your wife ruined the family, but you doubled down on it by involving the kid. There will only be festered resentment from all three parties moving forward, and you played a part in that. A split family is better for the kid than a broken one, masquerading as a whole. And let's be honest, there's no reconciliation here. It's just someone being an idiot and involving their kid. OP, do not involve children in your marital issues. Do you have any idea what you're actually asking? You're punishing your wife by hurting your daughter. Your daughter is at such a tricky age, so if you want your daughter to go out and deal with this in harmful ways that'll mess up her life, then go ahead. You need to get into therapy ASAP. Please don't make your children your therapist. I have so many mental health issues from being involved and hearing about my parents' marital and mental health and cheating issues as a child. And I think about what a different human being I would have been all the time. Trust me, don't put weight on your child's shoulders, which is not meant to be hers in the first place. Deal with your problems by yourselves. Let her be a child. I agree, but will the kid find out anyway? Especially at that age. As a teen, you're already aware of such things. The parents are fine and everything is good, but after mom comes back from a business trip, things go south and dad's filing for divorce? Yeah, as a teen, I would have jumped to cheating. OP's not the idiot.